Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. I'm James Welch. We are connecting musicians and audiences in real-time performances and music news from around the globe. Today is part 2 of 3, where we will talk about colORCHESTRA and replay some highlights from our very first venture that happened last year. colORCHESTRA is a new format project of connecting soloists who seek performances with the orchestra, and we have different orchestras who seek to discover new talent. So we link both of those entities together and provide people with amazing experiences around the world. We formed this. A team of teams formed this. Progressive Musicians, Sound Espressivo, Virtual Concert Hall's Brilliant Artist Discovery Awards, and Core Productions all together formed this opportunity for young musicians and professionals to play with orchestras around the world. Our first concert took place at the State University of New York at Fredonia, in Fredonia, New York, with the Western New York Chamber Orchestra under the baton of Maestro Glenn Cortese. We featured teenagers, collegiate students, and professionals from the US, Israel, and China. Today we will be replaying a couple portions of this program featuring Timothy Shee from New Jersey and guitarist Julio Reyes from California. You'll get an inside look of their lives a little bit through interviews that we will replay, and then you'll get to see their amazing performances. First up, we will have Timothy, and Timothy Shee is a classical violinist and a junior at Milburn High School. He began playing violin at 4 and has since performed as a guest soloist with the New Jersey Symphony, as a soloist at Lincoln Center, and as the concertmaster of the New Jersey Youth Symphony's Symphonia and Philharmonia. Currently, he is the concertmaster of the New Jersey Symphony's Academy Orchestra. He received first and second place in the Henry Lewis Concerto Competition in 2022 and 2020, respectively, and third place at Camerata Artists International Competition. Timothy is currently a member of NJSO Youth Orchestra, All State, and All National Orchestras. Outside of violin, he loves to program, talk with friends, and swim, having placed 12th and 20th nationally for the 400-meter and the 1,000-meter freestyle swim. So now we get to know Timothy a bit better and hear his performance with the Western New York Chamber Orchestra as he takes the center stage again.
And now I have in my studio Timothy Shee, fabulous violinist. Timothy, welcome. How was your trip?
It was a long trip, 7 hours here.
Oh my gosh, did you drive?
Yes, we drove.
Did you take a break at least?
Yeah, we took 2 on the way here. We took one in Pennsylvania and then one here in New York.
So your both parents came with you?
Yep, both my parents and my brother came here with me.
Wonderful. Are you the only violinist in the family?
My brother plays violin too. He started actually 1 year, 1 year and a half after me. So he's like 2 years younger than me. So yeah.
Aha, so as you're growing up, you're competing against each other.
Yep.
Do you get first dibs on the pieces to choose?
Not really, but sometimes we get into fights over who gets the Bach book, because we do share the same Bach sonatas and partitas book.
Oh, that's terrible to share, because your fingering gets into his
Yeah.
playing and his gets into yours.
Yeah, we like just try to figure it out sometimes. We do have the same teacher, so we usually do have the same fingerings.
Aha, wonderful. Well, you're very young and you're already concertmaster of the New Jersey Symphony Academy Orchestra, and you're just a sophomore in high school, aren't you?
Yep, I'm a sophomore.
And you already performed as a guest soloist with the New Jersey Symphony, so that's not the first time you're performing with the symphony orchestra as a soloist, right?
Yeah, I was very lucky to get the opportunity to perform with them. We played the Mozart Concerto Number 3.
And now you're playing Mendelssohn Concerto. That's a very challenging piece.
Yep, classical to romantic.
That's right, that's a big jump. And it's also a piece which most people know, the first theme of it. It's a very, very famous tune.
Famous for being very technically and intonation, it's very hard, yes.
You know, I heard that. My son is a violinist. He's a Juilliard-trained violinist. And he told me that beginning of Mendelssohn is notorious for being a challenge for intonation-wise. Interesting, I hear it from you too.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sibelius in a way, where you kind of only given 2 bars and then you come in and then you have to be right on that beat, and every single note after that has to be in tune, because the orchestra is playing chords of 3 and then it's just...
And you're soaring
forward.
above it. Yeah. Yeah, very exposed. Yeah, great opportunity. But listen, I know you have a lot of knowledge about musicians and performers, and some of them really inspire you to go forward with your violin study and your pursuit. Can you tell me a little bit about those people you look up to and why, especially?
Yeah, so I really look up to Yo-Yo Ma. I mean, it really just started because of a concert of the NJSOs where I was invited to it, and we got to see him perform the Dvorak Cello Concerto, and it really inspired me because I would see him performing in front of the audience, so confident, and then all the solos, like the solo in the third movement with the first violinist, Eric Warwick, it was just amazing. I really enjoyed it, and it also like made me think about chamber playing, because he was listening and interacting with the orchestra as he was playing, and that just really inspired me to look more into not just solo music but also chamber and orchestral music.
That's wonderful. So you're learning from the best. You're going to learn the best there is to learn. Great. Now listen, Timothy, I'm sure you're exhausted from your trip and the rehearsal which you had to jump into right away. And we heard little bits and parts of your virtuosic playing in there. Some sound was bleeding into the room where you are being interviewed. Yeah, it was great. I'm so looking forward to hearing you in that concert.
Thank you so much.
And best of luck. Enjoy your trip.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You earned it.
Yes, and our next soloist, who will be on the stage in a moment, is Timothy Shee, violin, and he'll be performing the first movement of the Concerto in E minor by Felix Mendelssohn for violin and orchestra. Fido, probably you're a violinist yourself, probably one of the most well-known concertos in the entire literature, isn't it?
Yes, it's very well known, a lot of played quite often, but not overplayed. So it's in a fantastic spot. I think a lot of people love to hear it, and we'll love to hear it today as well.
Now, Timothy is a violinist and a sophomore at Millburn High School. Where's Millburn? Is that in New Jersey? Yes. And he began playing violin at the age of 4 and has since performed as a guest soloist. Wow, with the New Jersey Symphony as a soloist at Lincoln Center, and as the concertmaster of the New Jersey Youth Symphony, Symphonia, and Philharmonia. And here he comes. It's Timothy Shee, violin, followed by Maestro Cortese for this performance of the first movement of the Mendelssohn Concerto for violin and orchestra.
Well, that was fun. It was great being in the room listening to that last year, and just rewatching it here. I'm just like thinking, wow, this was just awesome. And I mean, that ending, that coda, off to the races. There's also something about the key of E minor. I don't know. It just seems like the perfect intersection between haunting and amazing. And I can't describe it, but there's the E minor Mendelssohn, there's the E minor Elgar cello concerto, and then we just heard Pescanov's Italian concerto, which was an E minor, and I don't know. There's a lot of E minor going around lately. But anyway, that's another conversation for a weird day. But yeah, bravo, Timothy. It's always great to hear you play, even on replay, and I know that you're out there doing great things. So you might be wondering, well, how can I be a part of this? Well, we're going to tell you right now. So colORCHESTRA is a new project we started up last year, and let's show the website just for a minute here. And we have on the Progressive Musicians website, progressivemusicians.com, and up at the top here we have colORCHESTRA, and this comes down and there's a homepage for colORCHESTRA here and 4 other experiences here. So I'm on the colORCHESTRA homepage, and you'll see all the experiences, the deadlines. We have 4 different orchestras coming up, and most of the deadlines are November 15th. Boulder Symphony, the deadline's March 1st. You apply, you send a video of your best representation. It doesn't have to be a concerto, just a piece that you play the best. And our judges will go through the pre-screening, and we will invite musicians for a live audition, and then you will play the piece that you wish to play on the concert. So here's some of the information about the orchestra here, and we have the Western New York Chamber Orchestra at SUNY Fredonia with Maestro Glenn Cortese, and we have all of our important dates here. So apply by November 15th. And why is my highlighter not? There we go. And then we go through all the auditions and all the motions, and then those who are selected show up in Fredonia for rehearsals and concerts, and 1 concert. No age restrictions, open to all instruments and singers, and you can apply right here. You can learn more about the experience right here, and regulations, and I believe there's a repertoire list. Oh, that's if you click on the information tab right here. You click on that, and I already have a tab up here, but then this comes up. Yep, that's what I was looking for. So again, here's all the dates and all that, and sample repertoire list. This is what we're looking for. You click on that, and a bunch of suggestions of what the orchestra has pre-approved comes up. Of course, we can approve pieces that are not on the list. You just have to ask about it. So that we can't think of everything. There's a bunch of great repertoire out there that we'd love to put on the stage. Okay, and here's the maestro Glenn Cortese, who is just amazing. I've played under him, and I've worked alongside of him, directed shows many times in the past, and he's just a dream to work with. And all of our application process, our fees, and everything. So if you're interested in that, you just go to our website, progressivemusicians.com. We also have information on the Sound Espressivo website as well. And our email address, I believe we have that in the banner here somewhere. Here's some banners. Yeah, our email address is info@colorchestra.com. And actually there we go. Our deadline is November 15th for Western New York Chamber Orchestra and most of the other orchestras, and you can contact us there. Okay, so we could come out of the web here. Yeah, there we go. And we have a little bit prepared about the live audition process. The live audition is like no other online live audition that I know of anywhere. And if you're selected for a live audition, you are playing from the comfort of your own home or studio, and you get to interact with the judges. Yes. Oh, thank you for putting that up. Yeah, we stream all of these auditions and our performances on all the major platforms, Facebook, Vimeo, LinkedIn, the list goes on, YouTube, and all the places you're watching us right now. But we get on and we do the live audition. You play, you get to talk to the judges, they get to talk to you, you get to ask them questions, and it all goes on like a live broadcast. And we do have a sample clip of that, which we will play for you right now.
I have a couple of more questions rather than comments. Comment-wise, it's beautiful. It's a nice clarinet, that aquatic sound that I always like about clarinet, that it sounds very, how do I put it, aquatic, there's a water kind of sound, colors that are coming from it. What I wanted to check with you, how did you know that obviously it's F minor and then it goes to modulate to, D flat major, re bemol, major, and then come back to F minor. These transitions were not very clear to me, that you were purposely doing them. They just happen. Okay, I'm playing some notes, and then you will hear F minor, and then you will hear D flat major. So that would probably be a little bit better if you how do I put it, show that change.
Thank you so much. Your tone is so beautiful, and I agree with Gevorg and with James that you're really have gone far from the first hearing of this concerto movement. I'm really impressed. Thank you so much. And I just wonder, after listening to you play a couple of times, how much you think about the dramatic content of what you're playing.
A lot.
A lot, yeah, I can tell. It's very important to you, right?
Yeah, all the cinematic background to the piece and the dramatic sentences that end up affecting the way I play it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for wonderful comments and suggestions, and I can't agree more with Joanna. You live for those favorite moments in the piece. We all have the favorite moments in the piece. However, all the stuff in between the favorite moments can be somebody else's favorite moment in the piece.
I have a couple of more questions.
So that was Itay Hazan, fabulous clarinetist from Israel, and he was one of the performers on our Winneco colORCHESTRA concert series. He gave a very compelling performance of the Weber F minor first movement concerto, and it's just extremely talented 14-year-old boy. But you can see there what the audition process is like and how the sound and the communication between everybody is crystal clear. And we have a full team of tech wizards behind the scenes that make that happen. It's not the difference just between using like Zoom and another platform. Of course, that's part of it, but we're very fortunate to have a team of actual tech wizards and musicians that know exactly how to help you get your own tech from your own locations in perfect working order for this type of broadcast. And so that's part of the whole package when you audition with us. Okay, so just a couple more things about colORCHESTRA, and then we're going to move on to Julio. So if we could look at the website again, I just want to highlight the other experiences, because we only had one opportunity last year, and this year we have 4. So we have the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, which we mentioned. Here's Maestro Cortese. And if you scroll down on our page here, you'll see the Martinu Philharmonic Orchestra in Zlin, Czechia, which is only a few hours away from Prague, which would be a great experience as well. And we have our conductor here, Gevorg, who you saw giving comments. He's a master conductor, and he's the one of the owners and CEOs of the Brilliant Talent Discovery Awards, which is one of our major teams organizing this event. So we have this here you can apply for, and then we have the Cairo Opera Orchestra in Egypt, which is not going to be an operatic performance. They primarily do operas, but they get a few galas throughout the year where they could do other repertoire, and they are going to do other repertoire here. They want to do duo and trio ensemble concertos where they bring in some of our musicians to play duo and trio feature concerti with their musicians as well, and it's going to be a really fun event. And we have all the buttons here you can click to learn more and apply, and I'm really excited about this. And then we have the Boulder Symphony Orchestra in Boulder, Colorado, and that will be an audition later in the season, and those selected will perform in the 2024-25 season. So that's our whole lineup for colORCHESTRA this season, and I think, that's about it for now. I could go on for days with this stuff, but I'm not going to, because we have so much more greatness to show. We have one more spotlight in this replay, and that is guitarist Julio Reyes. Julio was born in Oakland, California, and started the guitar at the age of 5 under the tutelage of his father, and is a former musical diplomat in Paraguay and South America, who studied with a student of Agustin Barrios. He gave his first recital at 12, and at 17 performed a Concerto de Aranjuez, I'm not saying that right, with Richard Buckley and the Oakland Symphony Orchestra. Julio has performed in Europe, South America, and the Caribbean. At 9, he started his studies on cello and eventually became a member of the Oakland Symphony Youth Orchestra. He has enjoyed being an educator for many years, conducting youth orchestras in the U.S., Cuba, and Paraguay since the late 80s, giving lectures on the life of music of Agustin Barrios at conservatories of music, colleges, music departments, and guitar societies here and abroad, teaching guitar and teaching music at Holy Names High School in Oakland, California for the past few years. Currently, he continues to teach guitar privately, gives lectures, recitals, and freelance conducts whenever possible. And we were fortunate enough to have him give a lecture on Barrios at SUNY Fredonia after his performance with the Western New York Chamber Orchestra. It was quite the presentation, and he worked with some of their students, and just a lot of greatness that has come out of this. He's a fabulous musician and all-around fun person. He's also performed on our laureate galas at Carnegie Hall, and next season will be leading an auditioned guitar ensemble that will be performing at Carnegie Hall. So you'll have to stay tuned for the information on how to participate in that. So now we will get to hear a bit more of Julio's performance and get to know him a little bit better as he takes the center stage again. Welcome back, Julio.
Now I'm very happy to see in our studio Julio Reyes, the soloist for the upcoming concert. Welcome, Julio. A great pleasure to see you.
Well, thank you, Anna. Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward. I was just listening to the violinist. Oh my goodness, there's some great players here, so I better be on my A game today.
You may need to unpack your instrument and practice a little bit, right?
Yeah, really.
But listen, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions before. I know it's not the best time. You're all immersed in the rehearsing, but I'm going to take just a few minutes.
That's fine. That's fine.
I know you started the guitar at a very young age with your father, who was a diplomat in Paraguay in South America. So what an interesting beginning. And then you also studied cello, and eventually you became a cellist, a principal cellist with the Auckland Symphony Orchestra.
Oakland Symphony Youth Orchestra, not the main orchestra, the youth orchestra.
Okay. And then you also were became a Maestro Nagano's assistant conductor in that orchestra. Is that correct?
Yes. It happened in a situation where we were the host orchestra in Aberdeen, Scotland for the Aberdeen Youth Festival, Orchestra Festival. It's an Olympic-style event where there are orchestras from all over the world. And we were the host orchestra from the U.S. And there was one time where he saw me working with a quartet that was having a problem playing this Vivaldi piece. And so I was working with him, and he liked the way that I worked with him. And so he, on the drive back, said, hey, look, I got this contract to record an album with Frank Zappa, and I'm going to need an assistant. Would you be interested? So on the flight back, I was, oh my God, I was floating. I was so excited. And so I ended up working for the Oakland Symphony for a few years. And then when Kent left, I continued on. And then when the Oakland Symphony stopped, I stayed for 1 year to keep it going. And then I left. It was time to go. By that time, I'd been associated with them for, 8 years, 9 years. So it was time to move on. And so I started giving recitals and freelance conducting. And I had stopped playing cello. I had a shoulder injury where I couldn't play for almost 4 years. And so I just kept with the guitar, started playing jazz bass also, and freelance conducting, and now I give lectures at conservatories and colleges on the music of a Paraguayan composer and guitarist, Agustin Barrios. He was one of the first ones to ever record an album on guitar. So he's a very, very important person for the guitar. And so my father studied with a student of his, so I have a lot of inside information. And so I'm looking forward to giving a lecture.
That's right. You're giving a lecture on Monday, so you're going to be focusing on the composer during that lecture.
So I'm looking forward to doing that.
So you stumbled upon this opportunity to take a baton in your hand and you just ran with it.
Well, I started conducting lessons when I was at this music program at Cal Berkeley. It was a 7-week intensive program during the summertime for kids. And that's where I got cello lessons, conducting. We also studied jazz. People that were classical players studied jazz. People that were jazz players were studying classical. So a lot of great musicians came out of there. Benny Green, Joshua Redmond, both Grammy winners that have performed at the Village Vanguard in New York. And so it's put out a lot of great musicians. And I'm just very honored to be an alumna of that group.
That's wonderful. I have another question, maybe a little bit of personal question. The colORCHESTRA Auditions is striving to attract musicians not only in the traditional age group up to 30 or whatever the competitions usually limit the age. And we were really concerned that musicians of your or my age may feel like, okay, we're out of our water, we're not ever going to compete again. And we were so happy to see people applying. We had up to age 80 applying for the competition. So you were in a good company. You're not the only one, but of course the majority were the younger musicians. So it seems like maybe we're breaking through the glass ceiling and allowing the competitive stage, to become again available to musicians of all ages. How do you feel about it? What do you think?
I think it's great. I think there are a lot of people, because the whole competition thing hasn't been going on for years and years and years. You know, there were a lot of people like myself when I was, like 20s and 30s. There weren't competitions. There were, but very, very few, and they weren't that well known. And so later on, when all these different competitions came about, it was a thing where a lot of guitarists had to really get into a competition to get any recognition. I mean, you could be a phenomenal player, but if you didn't at least, partake in one competition,
you had to put yourself out, right?
And so it's kind of defeating, in a way. And there are a lot of great musicians that are in their 50s, 60s and so forth, that didn't have that opportunity. And it's a real shame, because they are the ones that were bringing up the young ones. They're the ones that were being listened to by those young ones who are now in the competition. So
do you think it makes sense for people of more mature musicians to compete?
I think it's fair as long as you do it the way that progressive musicians is doing it, where you have categories. If you have everybody in the same mix where a 12-year-old is competing with a 40-year-old, that can be kind of hard, because the 12-year-old, hey, he or she could be a great player, but there is something to speak to towards life experience. Life experiences really, really accentuate more your dynamic spectrum. So I think that, yes, a great player at 12 and a great player at 40, 50, but don't put them together. Have categories. That way you can get the cream of the crop in each section, and it makes it fair for everybody.
Yeah, wonderful. I love your optimistic approach and your problem-solving approach to this, and very much looking forward to your performance. You're
Thank you.
a wonderful musician. I remember your auditions; it was so impressive, and can't wait to hear you with the orchestra.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, that's going to be fabulous. Thank you, Julio, for giving the interview and speaking with me tonight.
Great, thanks for having me.
Best of luck at the rehearsal.
Thank you.
See you.
just an outstanding performance. Always great to hear Julio perform. And he actually performed the first movement of that concerto on our Laureate Gala at Carnegie Hall this past June. So we got to hear double Julio with our events, which was just great. Wonderful. After this concert that you just heard, the very next day he gave a wonderful masterclass and lecture on Barrios to the students at SUNY Fredonia, which was just wonderful. So, bravo, Julio. Thank you for all that you did, and we keep looking forward to new experiences and new fun ventures with you. On that note, I'm not just saying that because we have Julio on our team now, and he will be directing a guitar ensemble this coming July as part of our season. And it'll be an auditioned guitar ensemble. You go to New York and you work 2 days intensively rehearsing with Julio directing, and then you get to perform on our Laureate Gala at Carnegie Hall at the beginning of July. And let's go to the website a little bit, and I'll show you just a few things about it. Let's see here. Okay, so if you go to progressivemusicians.com and the Laureate ensembles, here they all are. We have so many of them here. It's great. But guitar ensemble, that's what we're focusing on right here. So you have till November 15th to apply, and then we have all the information here and the regulations you can download. Yeah, November 15th, and our auditions will be in February, and then those selected will come to New York on June 28th, and we'll work a couple of days intensively in the New York studio, perform on July 1st, and depart on July 2nd with memories of great times here. And every performer here gets a performance package. We have a digital archive video of the performance at Carnegie Hall. Everyone gets a medal and certificate, a full color booklet program. There's tickets for performers and interviews with Steve Robinson. We've seen some of these interviews with Anna today. We have a whole interview team that's great, and all of the information here. There's so much. I'm not going to read it all today here, but you apply here, download audition excerpts here, and and meet the director. Well, we've already met him here, Julio Reyes, and you may have all of his bio here, and there's so much more. This bio is just the streamlined version of how amazing he is. And just a quick little plug on our homepage here. If you go to the homepage, and you can see all of the events that we are auditioning for this season. And this isn't even all of them. We have a few more that we have to put up, but you see there's Carnegie experiences here, all of the ensembles, all the colORCHESTRA auditions here, and all of the Sound Espressivo online experiences here, which are just fabulous. And we have all of the master musicians that you get to work with between these experiences, and it's just wonderful. We have different awards. We have one of them is the Adler Oaks Audience Favorite Award, and we had 3 winners for that. That's with the Carnegie experience. We have plenty of other awards with iClassical Academy, and I am not seeing that page here, but it's on our website, and it's also on the Sound Espressivo website, and I could talk for days about that. But yeah, so great. So anyway, Sound Espressivo website, Progressive Musicians website, all the information there. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email us at director@progressivemusicians.com or info@colORCHESTRA.com. All of them. They're all us. We're also on Facebook, Twitter. I'm not on Twitter much, but Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. You can message us. All of those. We live on those websites, and we are happy to respond to all of the messages and questions that you send us. But yeah, check out our website. There's so many opportunities, and just decide which one best suits you. Talk to your teachers about that too. And listen to what your private teachers have to say, because they know best. Listen to them, then go home and practice. Okay, so on that note, let's wrap up here. Do we have any new comments that we show? I think we showed all of them, but you can comment live on our broadcasts, and it's just fun. And we've had some comments from Anna and a few other people, and thank you for that. Here we go. Yeah, if you're just joining now, please leave your comments and do it fast because we're about to wrap this up. But there'll be plenty of opportunities to comment. We have that option, that feature on all of our broadcasts, and we'll put them up on the screen. So on that note, we have our tech wizards here that give all that put all the comments on the screen and do so much more to make these broadcasts amazing. Thank you, tech wizard musicians. We have to thank our supporters here. Wow, there's so many of them, but it does take a village, and our village is very strong and supportive and fun. So come join our village. Audition. And just one more shout out to all the private teachers and families that support your kids and your students. We couldn't have great broadcasts. We couldn't have great events, and competitions, auditions, and professional events without all of your hard work and tutelage. So thank you for that. On that note, we will sign off. We are live every day at noon with short broadcasts. So we will be back in about 45 minutes with some more artist spotlights. So please tune in to hear more about that and plan to leave some comments as well. Okay, on that note, I'm James Welch, your host for today and owner of Progressive Musicians, signing off here. See you real soon. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.